For organizations that rely on funding through grants, Interact provides a very comprehensive grants management module, which is tightly integrated with the time and attendance as well as payroll management modules, so that all the costs associated with personnel, which are covered by specific grants, can be tracked appropriately and can be reported on as required. For nonprofit organizations, the system allows you to define any number of programs for which you typically get grant funding. You can define all donor types the way you want to track them, and you can define the different grant types that are used in your line of business. You'll be able to define the grant agreement types and the documentation types that are related to grant applications. In addition, you can define the different grant budget categories and grant budget items which will be used to track the actual cost of your employees. You'll be able to define the individual donors and grants that they have provided. Those individual grants can then be defined, and you can set how much has been awarded, in which currency. You'll be able to set a detailed budget for all the budget items, and you can create a position budget that will cover exactly how many positions are approved and what kind of funds are allocated for each one of these positions under the grant that has been provided. The logic of all this is, of course, to make sure that when employees book their time against grants using the time management module in Interact through self-service, that this will be verified against the specific grant conditions and the correct budgets and funds, so that there is no chance that time is being billed against a grant which has already exhausted its budget. The beauty of the integration in Interact is that everything is connected. So when the expenses are booked and when employees are booking time against projects and grants, then the system will be able to verify if the right funds are available and if then all the expenses will be associated with specific grants and specific budget periods, so that the reporting is complete for the donors as well as for your internal reporting to make sure that you are tracking everything correctly against the budget. All of this can be achieved through the integration of grants management with payroll and compensation management, and time and attendance, and of course, self-service, workflow and alerts that will ensure that everything is happening as planned. Keep in mind that the power of Interact is in its in-depth functionality of all its modules and the integration between all these modules that is available out of the box. So, grants management is integrated directly with labor costing and billing, with compensation and payroll, with time and leave management, as well as with resource scheduling, where specific projects will be defined. For example, you can see here that any project can be set up to be associated with specific funding sources, grants, and different currencies, and can be classified based on the specific program or project donation reporting group. All this is tied together, and the end result is that employees will be able to book and bill their time against specific projects and specific grants or billing codes for those particular grants. You'll be able to get the reporting that you need for your donors, and the payroll cost will be allocated correctly. The system can actually block employees from billing time against the grant if there's no more funding available in that grant or if the conditions of the grant prevent the employee from billing time against it. Using workflow, the right approvals can be obtained for the right people in order for the process to be most efficient. It is in the integration and straightforward design where you can see that the grants management module is intuitively designed like all other modules in Interact, and that is the real power of the application when it comes to tracking, costing, and reporting of personal expenses related to specific grants and funds.